Ever been alone in the woods and suddenly felt like you weren't? Everything starts out calm, almost peaceful, the kind of quiet that makes you feel like you've stepped out of the world for a while. Then something shifts. A twig snaps behind you. Leaves rustle where there's no wind. You stop walking, and the silence that follows feels heavier than it should. Your body reacts before your mind does. You turn, scanning the trees, trying to convince yourself there's nothing there, but not quite believing it. That feeling is more common than people admit. And it doesn't mean anything is wrong with you. It means your brain is doing exactly what it was designed to do: protect you in places where certainty doesn't exist. Forests are full of unknowns. Limited visibility, strange acoustics, constant movement just outside your line of sight. When your brain can't immediately explain something, it fills in the gaps. And it rarely fills them with something comforting. There was a hiker, let's call him Daniel, who experienced that uncertainty in a way he still struggles to explain. He was deep on a trail, miles from anyone, when he noticed something off to the side of the path. At first, it looked like a shadow standing upright between two trees. Too tall, too still. He assumed it was just a trick of the light, until it moved. Not quickly, not aggressively, just a slow shift, like it had been watching him the entire time. He didn't stick around long enough to figure out what it was. He turned and left, calmly at first, then faster as the feeling of being watched intensified. What stayed with him wasn't just what he saw, it was what came after. Trying to explain it, deciding not to, knowing that if he told someone, it would turn into a joke about Bigfoot or seeing things. But the fear he felt was real. And ever since that day, being alone in the woods doesn't feel neutral to him anymore. It feels like stepping back into a place where something once noticed him. Not every experience is that mysterious. Sometimes the fear comes from something very real and very powerful. Another hiker, Melissa, had always been comfortable outdoors. She knew the basics, stayed aware, and never really felt afraid. That changed when she encountered a bear on a quiet stretch of trail. It wasn't far. Close enough that she could hear its breathing, see the size of it clearly, feel how small she was in comparison. The bear didn't charge, didn't act aggressively. It just stood there, watching her. That moment stretched longer than it should have. She backed away slowly, doing everything right, and eventually the bear moved off. No attack, no injury. But the fear didn't end when the encounter did. After that, every hike felt different. Every sound in the brush carried weight. Every bend in the trail felt like a possible repeat. Even when she knew, logically, that most hikes don't involve bears, her body reacted as if it could happen at any moment. Because once you've felt that kind of vulnerability, your brain doesn't just forget it. And then there are the experiences that fall somewhere in between, where the threat isn't clearly defined, but the danger feels very real. One solo hiker, Chris, noticed someone behind him on a remote trail. Not unusual at first. People pass each other all the time. But this person didn't pass, didn't speak, just stayed at a distance, always within view, always far enough to avoid interaction. At first, Chris told himself it was nothing, just another hiker. But the pattern didn't change. When he stopped, the person stopped. When he walked faster, the distance remained the same. Hours went by like that. No words, no explanation, just the quiet presence of someone who didn't behave normally. Eventually, Chris left the trail earlier than planned, not because something happened, but because something felt wrong. That kind of fear lingers in a different way. It's not tied to a specific moment of danger, but to the possibility of one. The uncertainty, the question of intention. And afterward, it changes how you see other people on the trail. It adds a layer of caution that wasn't there before. These kinds of experiences, whether it's something unexplained, something dangerous, or something just off, have a way of sticking with you. They turn the woods from a peaceful place into something unpredictable. Your brain starts connecting dots, building patterns, trying to make sure you're never caught off guard like that again. Even without a specific event, many people describe a sudden and overwhelming feeling of being watched while alone in the woods. It doesn't always come with a sound or a sight. It just appears, a shift in awareness that makes your surroundings feel different. Your brain is wired to detect presence, to assume that if something could be there, it might be. In an environment filled with uncertainty, that instinct can become amplified. The longer you focus on it, the more convincing it feels. When fear hits like that, the instinct is often to react quickly, to move faster, to leave, to escape the feeling. But reacting without thinking can make things worse. Fear builds on momentum. The more you feed it, the stronger it becomes. Slowing down is what interrupts that cycle. Stopping, breathing, and taking a moment to actually observe what's around you helps separate what's real from what your mind is creating. Even acknowledging, "This is fear, not immediate danger," can bring your thinking back into focus. There are also simple ways to reduce that fear before it starts. Choosing trails that match your comfort level, letting someone know your plan, and bringing basic gear like a reliable light can make a significant difference. Starting earlier in the day avoids the added pressure of darkness. On the trail, keeping a steady pace, pausing to assess instead of reacting instantly, and staying grounded in what you can actually see and hear helps keep your mind from drifting into worst-case scenarios. And if something doesn't feel right, turning back is always an option. It doesn't mean you failed. It means you paid attention. In the end, feeling scared in the woods doesn't mean you don't belong there. It means you're human in a place that naturally triggers awareness and caution. Confidence isn't about eliminating fear. It's about understanding it, managing it, and knowing how to respond when it shows up. Because the woods will always have that edge to them, that sense that something could happen, even if it never does. And maybe that's part of what makes stepping into them feel so powerful, and sometimes so unsettling.